Back, as we told you at the top of the show, it was a very scary night for folks at Mulcahy Stadium and the Anchorage Football Stadium tonight. The Bucks hosting the Panthers in the nightcap of the Woodbat Invitational at Mulcahy. In the first 3 innings of play, the Panthers just dominate the Bucks with 7 runs, but then baseball takes a backseat in the 3rd inning. A plane flying very low crashes onto the track at AFS. A soccer game was underway at the time of the crash. As we told you earlier, though, fortunately, nobody is seriously hurt in the crash. And after about an hour delay, the Bucks and the Panthers decide to resume the game, and the Panthers go on to win this contest 10-2 the final. Well, earlier in the day, fans of all ages look on as the Pilots try to pick up their first win of the Woodbat. The Glacier Pilots meeting the Miners today. The Pilots add to their 1-0 lead with 3 runs in the 4th inning. Ryan Bird with a base hit to right. John Bowker comes home. 4-zip Pilots after 4. Anchorage adds 3 more for a 7-1 final. The Woodbat wraps up tomorrow night. Well, on the baseball front, a very busy day in the majors as 9 teams made a half-dozen deals before baseball's trade deadline. One of the biggest moves comes from New York. The Yankees acquire third baseman Aaron Boone and reliever Gabe White from the Reds. In return, New York sent Cincy a couple of pitchers and some cash. As soon as the Boone deal was done, New York then traded Robin Ventura to the Dodgers. Boone's been hitting .273 with 18 homers and 65 RBI this season. On the prep football front, the Bartlett Golden Bears have some big shoes to fill this season.
Caution! Caution!
The defending state champs are back on the field after going 10-0 last season, but continuing the streak won't be easy since this year's squad is without their starting lineup from a year ago. Even though the Bears are rebuilding, team confidence remains high. And finally, from the NHL, Super Mario made it official today. He's coming back. In a press conference this afternoon, the Hall of Famer told a packed house he will return for his 16th NHL season. After a year filled with injuries, Lemieux hinted last season that it might be his last. But after several months of working out, Lemieux says he's ready to go again. Historically, it's been the toughest first stretch in the longest race of its kind. Day 1 of the Midnight Sun Ultra Challenge.
I'm damn scared. Really intimidated by the hills.
Right turn coming up, guys. Right here, right there. Right turn.
But this year, day 1 looks a little bit different. Construction and poor roads in and around Fairbanks forced race officials to change the course. Instead of starting from the UAF campus to Nenana, this time cyclists stayed in the area, riding through the Fairbanks foothills.
Last night, just after dinner, drove the course and my jaw dropped, hit the floorboard of the car.
Yesterday was the first time that I heard that the course had changed, and I was not prepared for it. My bike is not designed to take any curves, and so I was pretty disappointed on the first day.
Even though the course has changed, the challenge and strategy remains the same.
Like NASCAR, we bump draft, and if you're in the front and you're getting bumped, you want the guy to come around and take a pull, and so we'll see how all that plays out.
If they're having a bad day and I'm having a good day, it's a chance to get some time on the field.
You got me?
After a little less than 2 hours on course, Scott McNeese comes across first, making day 1 look a little tame.
I was expecting it to be a lot worse.
But for others, there wasn't time to savor the city landscape.
I didn't see any beauty today. Maybe I'm towards the end of the week, I'll have more time to check things out, but today was just heads down and go for it.
Come on!
With the first day done, it may not be all downhill from here, but at least it's one step closer to a Midnight Sun Ultra Challenge finish.
Excellent. Fantastic, man. Thanks.
Of course, the race is expected to wrap up Thursday in Anchorage. His name is Mike Bowles, and he is the keeper of the cup, an official job title and one of the best gigs in the sports business.
The curator and vice president of hockey operations, Phil Pritchard, asked me if I'd be interested in being one of the keepers of the cup, and took a little time to think about it, but it was really a no-brainer, and truly it was an honor to accept the job, and I've been doing it ever since.
Since 1995, Lord Stanley has had a keeper, a chaperone and travel companion who makes sure the cup is far from harm's way.
My job is involved in traveling with the cup anywhere around the world where it goes, answering questions both to you and the media, to the public, making sure the cup stays safe, stays respectable, and just making sure these guys have a great time with it. I mean, it's probably the hardest trophy in all of pro sports to win, and they're the only trophy that the guys actually get to take home.
Bolt is one of 3 Hockey Hall of Fame employees who travel with the cup. Each year, Cup keepers can log more than 100,000 miles. Even with the jet lag, Bolt says it's rare to have a down day.
You know, I never had a worst Cup moment, to be honest with you. I mean, every moment, like I said, is special. It doesn't matter if you're in a small town in the United States or Canada or over in Europe or to a big city like Chicago, like with Shelley Holmes. I think every moment is really special, and I just, again, like, the reaction is always different, but at the same time is always very much enjoyed, and everybody's always very happy. So that is like kind of like every day it's like that.
With each stop comes a new Cup experience, and while every moment is unique, Bolt says there are a few that stand out.
Every day I think is a special day when you're with the Cup, but just a couple off the top of my head is Chris Chelios when he took it to Wrigley Field. Getting to meet Sammy Sosa was a special day. Going to Russia, being in Red Square with it. Martin Brodeur, when he played road hockey, just like he did with like he was a kid, every day after school they played for the Stanley Cup. So when he actually won the Cup, they played for the real thing, and just watching him and his friends enjoy the Stanley Cup and running around the street with it like they won it on the ice.
This year's trip to Anchorage is the first Alaskan adventure for Bolt. And even though his stay is brief, he's been pretty impressed with the last frontier.
I flew in last night, and just flying in, looking out the window of the airplane, it was just, I couldn't believe how beautiful it was just flying in, and I couldn't wait to get on the ground and see it. Of course, I got in here during the dusk hours, so it was getting a little dark, but I'm really, you know, right here we got the mountains in the background, and you know, Lord Stanley's sitting there having a view of the mountains. People were very jealous of me, knowing that I've been coming here. Ever since the Cup was won and everybody knew that I was going to probably be coming here with the Cup with Scott Gomez, people were very jealous. So, I mean, you people are very lucky to spend every day here.
While Alaskans may be lucky to live here every day, Bolt's day-to-day is something to envy, too. Lately, San Diego comes to town with a 5-game winning streak, while the Aces have a 2-game winning streak. Last night, it was Ball State and Jacksonville State battling for services, trying to clinch a postseason spot with a win tonight. The Racers have spent a lot of money and time. The Aces also just have 4 wins in their last 19 games. On a scenic and sunny day in Seward, we head out on the MV Legacy in search of silvers, halibut, and whatever else wants to come aboard.
My dog, Skip.
With Captain Steve Babinec of Saltwater Safari at the helm, our first stop is Pony Cove, a popular spot for silver salmon.
Fish.
Within minutes, the Legacy is hopping with fish-on calls from the back to the front.
Fish on.
Fish can't get enough of the herring, and after a little more than an hour, our boat of 16 anglers have each hauled in 3 silvers, stopping there to leave room for our daily bag limit for halibut. That's a good-looking fish, though, huh? After leaving Pony Cove, our next stop is Shield Rock, where we try our luck at halibut.
Almost every day we've been limiting. It's just a question of size. You know, some days you get great big ones, and other days they can run medium size. Today I expect a mixed bag. Big ones, small ones, a lot of different sizes.
But unlike our silver success earlier in the day, it takes a while to catch the slow but solid flatfish. After a few maneuvers to deeper waters, our friends from the Golden Gopher State make no secret of their first catch.
How we say it in Minnesota? I got me a big one!
While others have a more focused approach to reeling in the big one.
This is my first and last fish, I know that.
In our quest to catch halibut, we also find other varieties of fish that swim around in the outer edges of Resurrection Bay, from lean cod to snappers to sharks. After more than 12 hours on the water, we declare the day a great success, filling the hold with silvers, halibut, and lean cod. But even better than catching a cooler full of fish, if there is such a thing, is bragging rights that we bring back to the sports office. Score!
I'd like to say you men fish like women, but you don't.
Welcome back. After a surprising opening loss in the first weekend of prep play, the Chugiak Mustangs are taking the defeat as a wake-up call. This weekend, the Mustangs meet the East T-Birds in Week 3. In preparation for Saturday's contest at the Turf, Chugiak spent the afternoon getting used to the confines of the Anchorage Football Stadium once again. Even though a team never wants to start out the season with a loss, the Mustangs say they've put the defeat behind them.
We're going to find out where everybody stands. It's a very big game. You know, East is a good football team. They went down to Juneau and they kind of got it handed to them. And so I'm sure that their coaches are going to make their adjustments that they need to make. And we're expecting a real good ball game from East.
Win will keep us in for the playoffs. We want to knock them out of the playoffs again, so we're going to try to beat them, of course, and hopefully other teams can knock them out because they're a big threat.
On the NFL front, the Steelers' backfield will have a different look to start the season. Head coach Bill Cowher naming Amos Zaraway as Pittsburgh's new starting running back today. That means Jerome Bettis will be relegated to the bench to begin 2003. Bettis, who's the second leading rusher in Steelers history, wasn't so happy with the decision, but he says he wants what's best for the team. Pittsburgh opens the year September 7th against Baltimore.
I don't think that.
The USA men's basketball team opening Olympic qualifying play tonight in Puerto Rico. The U.S. facing Brazil in Game 1. The first two quarters a little too close for comfort. The U.S. leading Brazil by just 2 points at the break. But Team USA comes back with a strong third-quarter performance, outscoring Brazil 29-8 in the third. Team USA goes on to win its first game of the event, 110-76. On the hockey front, the Alaska Aces announced the signing of their third player today. The Aces inking center Mark Smith to a contract. Smith spent last season with the now defunct Lexington Men of War. Even though there's still a few months before the season starts, new Aces head coach Davis Payne says recruiting players has been one of his early challenges.
There's going to have to be some.
Welcome back with one loss and one win to start the season. The East T-Birds are hoping to once again prove they're a threat in the Cook Inlet Conference this weekend. The team faces its third test of the season when they faced a Chugiak Mustangs Saturday. The T-Birds conference record fell to 0-1 with a loss to Juneau last Friday. Now the T-Birds are trying to regroup and get back that threat status. On the college football scene, it's been a roller coaster week for Rick Newheisel. The former Huskies head coach returned to the sidelines as the quarterbacks coach for a local high school. Today, his former employer Washington released audio tapes from his interviews with the NCAA regarding gambling violations. During the initial interview, Newheisel said he'd never placed a bet, but then he later admitted that he was involved in a neighborhood basketball pool on the NCAA tournament. Newheisel was fired from the university on July 28th, and he's still pursuing legal action against Washington. As for his coaching career, Newheisel says he's just happy to be part of football once again.
We'll ask why, and because coaching's coaching, and it's what I do in the falls.
Meantime, Washington's getting used to life without Newheisel. The Huskies opened the 2003 season with a tough test facing the defending national champs Ohio State August 30th. Even though it's been a bumpy offseason for the Huskies, new head coach Keith Gilbertson says his squad is a resilient one.
We've kind of been through a lot.
That's the story from All Alone in the Studio, guys. Back to you.
Shelley. Tell Lars that's the Alaska fishing baptism he just did.
That's right, falling in the water.
And we'll let you come out here at 10, Shelley, and we'll go back to the studio.
There you go. There's a deal.
Wait a second.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thanks, Shelley.
Well, still.
We're here at the Big Dipper Arena in Fairbanks for the third day of the World Eskimo Indian Olympics. This competition has been going on for 4 decades. Just another example of how strong the Alaska pride is. Agility, strength, and tradition define the World Eskimo Indian Olympics.
56 and 5/8.
Since the early 60s, Alaskans young and old have participated in this now annual event.
We're in our 42nd annual celebration. We've been dancing and playing these games for that long, if not longer.
The World Eskimo Indian Olympics, also known as WEO, is more than a competitive event. Athletes rarely cheer against each other. Instead, they support one another.
The unique thing about our games, if you watch the high kicks, is that you'll actually see athletes who are competing against each other. However, they are coaching each other as well.
There's no other sport like Native Games. With us being a big family, we coach each other, we encourage each other. It's important for us to keep the games alive so we can keep passing these games on to the generations after us.
Passing on pointers isn't the only cultural significance of WEO. The games also bring together mothers and daughters, fathers and sons.
As I trained for these events here, they started imitating me when they were younger, and then and he put in a lot of practice, and he eventually just mastered them himself.
It's just a great big family get-together.
As the years pass, traditions and family connections keep the game strong. And even though the phases may change, Alaskan history lives on. Going on behind me right now is the opening ceremonies for all of tonight's action. Last night it went well into midnight, and that's expected to be the case once again tonight. Of course, all the competition wraps up tomorrow. We're live at AFS for the second football game of the season on the turf. East and West battling one of the oldest rivalries in prep football. The season opens tonight. First pitch set for about 7:15 between the Glacier Pilots and the Athletes in Action. Now there's two stories going on, number 2 versus number 5, and the story of this new turf. It's called field turf. And Damon, if you can pan down so we can kind of show you what this stuff is about. It looks like grass, but it's actually synthetic material. And in between it is this silty stuff, kind of looks like soil, but it's really sand. So it's pretty neat stuff. It's soft. There's a good give, and the players seem to enjoy it early. Alaska's gold medal in the pole push, just 1 of 69. The second closest competitor in terms of medals is the Northwest Territories with 45, so we continue to do well at the 2000 Games. Back to you. Back, we're live at the Sullivan Arena for the first hockey game of the season. USA meeting Niagara in the resurrected Johnson Nissan Classic semifinal Friday at the Great Alaska Shootout. But before the night play begins, it's consolation action at the Sullivan Arena. We head down to the Sully, the host Seawolves taking on Tennessee at noon. Charlie Brunn's crew with a solid first half effort. Peter Bullock muscles his way down low for 2 points. UAA keeps it close in the first. Sean Barnaby buries the jumper for 2 of his 11 points. UAA is down by just 1 at the half, 27-26. But the second half does belong to the Vols. After taking a very brief lead on the Peter Bullock jam, Tennessee is able to turn around. This time they can thank the three-pointer from Ron Slay for this turnaround. He buries the 3 from the top. This starts a 12-2 run. Tennessee wins easily 74-54. UAA is now 0 for 2 at the tourney. But for the lone Division II team in the tournament, there is something to say about a moral victory at the shootout. Switching gears a bit, the UAA hockey team is busy tonight. The Seawolves taking on the Colorado College Tigers in Colorado Springs. The road hasn't been kind to the Seawolves this season. They're just 0-4, but the Tigers have been struggling as of late too. And the Seawolves say this might be their best chance for a road win.
Right now they're struggling to score goals, and we want to keep it that way.
Like the Seawolves, the Aces are also on the ice tonight. The Aces in Fresno for the start of a 2-game stretch. This one is just underway and there's no score yet. Of course, we'll have the final for you coming up on the late edition. Moving on to college football, the traditional matchup between the Colorado Buffaloes and Nebraska Cornhuskers is a shocker today. We head to beautiful Boulder where the Buffs stun the Huskers early and often. Bobby Purify takes it 39 yards before the Huskers even know what hit them. This run puts CU on top 7-0. Then following a Husker turnover, the Buffs strike again. This time a tight end does it. Bobby Pesavento to Daniel Graham. It's 14-0 CU. Still in the first quarter, Chris Brown takes it up the middle, 11 yards. This would be the first of 6 touchdowns for Brown. That's a career day for him. The Buffs pummel the Huskers to earn a Big 12 championship berth, 62-36 the final. Another great rivalry in Texas today as Mr. Bush looks on. The Aggies and Longhorns meeting. Texas takes the lead in the first. Roderick Babbers blocks the punt, and Tony Jeffries picks it up and takes a loose ball the other way. 7-0 Texas as the fans celebrate. The Aggies, though, come back to tie it in the third. Keith Joseph with a 4-yard run in slow-mo. And this game is all even at 7 apiece. Nice jump there. Texas does come back with a 5-yard run. This is Cedric Benson, and he gets it in, and the Horns add another score late to beat Texas A&M 21-7. So it will be Colorado and Texas in the Big 12 championship next Saturday night in Texas. Hey, Carp, it looks like a nice night here at the ballpark. As you said, the season opens tonight. First pitch set for about 7:15 between the Glacier Pilots and the Athletes in Action. Earlier today, of course, Mulcahy Stadium was getting prepared for opening night. As you can see, just some of the final touches being put on the stadium. Last season, the Pilots finished in 4th place in the ABL with a 25-20 overall record. And as usually the case this early in the season, the Pilots roster is far from set.
You know, you spend.
Again, Carp, the game starts at about 7:10. Of course, we'll have all the highlights of the game coming up tonight at 10. Back to you.
All right, thanks. Bring me a hot dog on your way back.
No problem. At 5'6", 160, Steve Saigen may not be the biggest guy on the ice, but he's often the fastest.
He's nothing but energy, and he's the quickest player I'd ever seen, on tape or in person.
When head coach Dean Talifas first spotted Saigen, he knew this skater was something special.
We got a videotape, and I watched about a half an hour, and I says, if we can get this kid, you know, we are going to be the luckiest team.
Coach was very excited about the, about my talent. He said right off the bat that I was going to be a player for us. So certainly his confidence in me was one of the things that brought me here.
And it didn't take long for Saigen to make an impact. In just his first season, the Chicago native earned a spot on the WCHA All-Rookie team. So far this season, he leads all UAA scores with 11 goals and 24 points.
He plays every night like it's his last game, and he's extremely quick and smart.
Despite his freshman success, Saigen says his sophomore season's been a bit more challenging.
Now it seems like everyone's kind of conscious of where I am on the ice. A lot of times I'll have a guy who won't even be watching the puck. He'll just be staring me in the eye, hooking me and slashing me. So I've had to try to find ways to get away from those guys this year, and I've had some success.
While opposing teams may now focus more on the small speedster, Saigen's focus remains the same.
Personally, my goals are to obviously be the most explosive and exciting player that I can be. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully that'll help the Seawolves be the best that they can be.
And Travis Hall, his motor never quits. Here's a guy out of Alaska.
Falcons defensive end Travis Hall has always been a meat and potatoes guy.
And when he was brand new born, I took moose meat and potatoes and green beans and goat's milk right off the table, put it in the blender, and zzz, and made him. Here's your baby food. I knew what I was getting that way.
The Alaska-born Hall, playing in his first Super Bowl, grew up in the Kenai outdoors.
Riding horses, dirt bikes, snow machines. Your average Cornhusker, Nebraska hay baler boy maybe didn't have the chances to do these kind of things, compared to Alaskan kids where they can just roar out of their backyard and go pick fish or ride a snow machine.
No fancy weight rooms or athletic clubs for Hall. His strength and athletic skills were honed on the family ranch.
Them bones were formed with goat's milk, That heart was built with moose meat. That's not the same. Them legs were developed in the sea. And he wrestled 1,000-pound horses out here that are bigger than him. So he need to learn how to be smarter.
Even with his Kenai advantage and family support, Mark Hall gives Travis all the credit.
For the most part, Travis's dedication, Travis did this. Because you can lead a horse to water, and you can't make him drink. Travis ate everything that came his way. It's overwhelming, really overwhelming. But he's overwhelmed me a lot of times.
Shelley Holmes, Channel 2 Sports. Like most 10-year-olds, these little girls play with Barbie dolls and Beanie Babies. When they hit the ice, it's hockey time.
Hey, stick to stick. Come on, let's hit the sticks. Good passes, girls.
These little girls are part of the Alaska Firebird Hockey Association. Over 100 girls from 8 to 18 take part in the program.
Get a partner. Get a partner. And a puck.
Firebirds were established as a venue for girls to expand their hockey options.
A lot of these girls want to play with girls. When these girls are on the ice, they're all getting the same amount of playing time, and they're all getting a chance to show what they can do.
The Firebirds say they appreciate the advantages of playing on an all-girls team.
It's funner playing with the girls than it is with the guys is because the girls actually pass to you instead of with the guys that don't pass to you because they might not think that you're that good.
I think it's really neat because usually boys are playing hockey and they're like, oh yeah, we're always going to be better than you and stuff like that, but they're not because girls can have the same qualities.
Forget about frilly dresses and figure skates. These girls play with pucks and sticks.
it really gives them something that they're good at, you know, and they can be proud of things other than their looks.
Beyond the fun and games, there's a serious advantage to staying with the sport. College scholarships and Olympic dreams.
I think for the girls it was very inspiring, especially the ones who are 10 to 12 to 15 years old, having women as role models and realizing that it's not just a little kid's sport and that it's something that they can play all their lives and do very well at and get national recognition, international recognition for. It's really important.
I play to have fun. I'd like to play in college if I could.
For now, the Firebirds' main focus is to just enjoy the game.
I like playing with girls. You get to know them better and, they can become your friends.
It's just us girls, and it's fun skating with us all together. Get the quarterback! Get him! Get him!
It's never easy replacing a legend, something Bruce Scheer knows firsthand.
There's a lot of pressure, mainly because the whole building had teachers that only knew Tom Huffer as the head coach.
In 1989, Scheer took over the Mustang program after longtime coach Tom Huffer retired. But Scheer wasn't exactly a new face in the coaching ranks. He'd already won 3 straight state titles at East High School.
Dad passed it on to Coach Scheer, and he's done a great job. I mean, he came from East, kicking butt over there. I wanted to show the other teachers that, I was part of their staff and certainly didn't want to take anything away from Tom's success or anything like that. I just wanted to carry on the tradition of hard-nosed football here at Jugac.
And carry on he has. During his tenure, Scheer's led Jugac to 1 state championship and helped the Mustangs make numerous state title appearances.
It's great. I mean, best coach in the state. It's great to play for him, great to be in his program. It's a great program, a good coach, and couldn't ask for anything better playing out here at Jugac.
Much of Scheer's gridiron success comes from his relationship with the players.
The head coach has to be right in there with the kids, because when you ask them to do some of the things you want them to do, they got to know you've been there, you do it, and you understand what they're doing, and we have a good rapport.
He's really in tune with his players. You can talk to him about anything. I mean, we listen to him. We don't, just kind of daydream off and look over the thing when coach is trying to make a pointer.
After 2 decades, Bruce Scheer is the winningest coach in high school football history. But what's most important to Scheer is that he's exactly where he's always wanted to be.
It's been a wonderful experience. And it's been everything I thought it would be.
When you sit back and look at the whole picture, you never really know where you're going to be.
For now, at least, Doug Teske knows where he is and who he is. A former college star making a new name as a pro.
It's been a big change, but it's also been an exciting change for me and somewhat of a stepping stone.
We knew he was a good goaltender. It was just a matter of fortune. I think that him leaving the hockey program there and looking for a place to play and us needing a guy to play to bring us through the playoffs and stuff. So it's overall I think it's going to help us and him.
Teske credits his success with hard work and positive thinking.
I've worked a lot over my 3 years on preparing mentally, and you work hard physically, but they say the game's 90% mental, 10% physical. So I think if you believe in yourself and you come to play every night, it's good things are going to happen for you.
And good things are happening for the rookie netminder. Teske is 8-1 as a starter, with 2 of the 8 wins coming in the playoffs.
It's been, good so far. I guess like any other sport, you gotta be ready to play, and when you get your opportunity, you have to, rise to the occasion.
It worked out well for us. He's playing really good, and he's kind of stepped into a situation that he's made the best for himself out of, and it's a great addition for us at this time of the year.
Despite Teske's standout playoff performances, he's not getting ahead of himself. His sights are set on round 2 and Tacoma.
It's a long road, definitely, but I guess you just have to stay focused on, the next game and not really look at the whole picture, the Taylor Cup.
As for Teskey's big picture, it's just starting to come into focus.
Every year I'd like to, step up a level and just, my dream is to play professional hockey. And in a sense, I'm there right now, but, I want to go as far as I possibly can. And if that's, the NHL, then let it be that. But, that's a childhood dream. And it's just a matter of, right now, just staying focused and playing hockey.
Welcome back. With elimination looming, Indiana comes out firing and avoids a championship celebration on their home turf. The Pacers hosting LA in Game 5 tonight. A long night for Phil Jackson and his Lakers. Jalen Rose just unstoppable on this one. Rose's jumper in the third quarter puts the Pacers on top 78-61. LA doesn't have an answer on the other end. Kobe Bryant misses. Bryant finishes the night with 8 points. Like Rose, Reggie Miller also on fire tonight. Reg hits a three from way downtown. Miller's bucket puts Indiana on top by 25. The Pacers stomp the Lakers 120-87. LA still leads the best-of-7 series 3-2. Game 6 set for Monday in LA. To golf for the second straight day, weather has a key role in the U.S. Open as fog delays play for more than 2 hours. After the fog finally lifts, former Open champ Jack Nicklaus plays maybe his final round ever at the Open. Check out the approach shot on 18, 545 yards, reaches it in 2. Despite the great shot, Nicklaus, though, doesn't make the final cut. For the second straight day, Tiger looks sharp even though he doesn't tee off until 3:45 Alaska time. He picks up where he left off and stands at 9 under through 12 holes. Miguel Angel Jimenez 3 shots back through 7. 2 players are tied for third. Play called for darkness tonight, so the leaders will continue round 2 tomorrow morning. Checking out some of the guys who don't move on, as mentioned, Nicklaus. Greg Norman's 82 means he misses the cut for the third straight year. And finally, just the third time in his career, Davis Love III won't be in action this weekend. Here in town, the Glacier Pilots looking for their third straight win tonight at the ballpark. The Pilots hosting the Seattle Studs at Mulcahy. Second inning, Pilots add to their 1-0 lead. Chad Stewart sends a shot to left. Darryl Bowell scores on the hit. It's a 2-0 Pilot lead. 2 innings later, the Pilots blow the game open thanks to Andy Newfield. Newfield's homer makes it a 6-0 lead. The Pilots go on to stump the Studs 7-5. The Glacier Pilots' next game is Tuesday against the Seattle Studs again. Finally, some of the state's best mountain racers were on hand this morning for the first annual Twin Peaks Mountain Run. Around 100 people took off from Eklutna and headed straight up Pepper Peak. In comparison to Mount Marathon, this trek is longer, nearly 4 miles, and higher, with an elevation of about 3,700 feet. After the long climb, the first to reach the top is Rob Whitney. He finishes in 50 minutes, 27 seconds. On the ladies' side, Teresa Brady first in a little over an hour.